What's up, guys? All right, so done with work, about to meet the family for a little food. Got into a conversation with this guy in some comments on one of my videos, and I'm sure a good person, and I don't even know if it's male or female, so I'm gonna call him a guy, dude, whatever. But it's a similar conversation I've had with other people, okay? So, I have certain beliefs in things that other people don't have, and that's okay. I don't force my beliefs on other folks, but I don't hide them either, right? So, some people, think that if you're intelligent or whatever, then intelligent people shouldn't believe in God or whatever. But I disagree. And I think there's actually, even if you take like faith aside, there's actually some good logical, philosophical viewpoints that can bring you to a belief in God. Now, whatever you choose to believe still takes faith, okay? Whether you choose to believe in a God or multiple gods or no God, it still takes a bit of faith, right? Because nobody just really knows, okay? So let's just take that all out of it. And what I found with these conversations is the first thing that people seem to want me to understand is that they don't need God or any type of moral system to live a good life, and that they are specifically good people. And for the most part, I would agree with that. And most of the folks I know that are atheists are great people. And that's funny because they're living like, usually they live by a moral, ethical, Judeo-Christian standard, and that's actually how they define their own morality, even though they would never say that's where they're getting it from, right? Or they might claim, but here, all right, so this is what gets interesting in the mind, though, because they want to rationalize out of this morality and say, well, this is how I choose to live, or this is how I was raised, or they'll even say that they live a moral life because it's better for society in general. Which really, if something is better, then that implies that there is a worse way, which implies that there's some type of standard that should be met, okay? And now when you start to talk to them about this, oftentimes they deny that this standard exists. And almost always, they eventually tell me that they really don't believe in any type of right or wrong or objective truth. And this always blows my mind because it's sort of like the most obvious thing. And it's almost like their intellect, their brain, I don't know, they just can't see it, right? Because they've rationalized themselves into a position, and even when they see how absurd it is, they don't want to admit they're wrong. And I agree, because I probably do the exact same thing with some of my views, that might be illogical or absurd or whatever, but because I've come to believe in however way I've come to believe them, that when confronted with something that may show the opposite, I'm going to be defensive, right? And we all are. But if your belief system tracks down and it brings you to the point where you don't believe anything is right or wrong, you've got problems, okay? It's not a belief system that works, okay? And I don't care how smart you are, I don't care if your philosophy is just perfect on paper. if your belief system says there's no right or wrong, there's a problem. And it's crazy that we even have to point this out. But I have a lot of conversations with a lot of different type of people. It's just the job I have, you know. And, you know, here's the thing. And so when you point that out, you say, oh, so it wouldn't be wrong, you know, to murder someone. Well, and then, of course, they'll want to nitpick and say, well, it just depends on the situation, right? Or they'll say, well, I've never killed anybody. But that's not the point. The point is, what do you believe is right or wrong? Not what have you done. So a lot of times they'll say there's no right or wrong, but then they live their lives as if there is, right? So are they really atheists? Are they really nihilists? If they live their life as if there is right or wrong, but then they just pretend like there's not, even though they know there is. See how crazy it is? It's illogical. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. But then when you, and I'm not even trying to prove, you know, a deity or a creator or anything like that. I'm just saying, let's use our brains. There is a right or wrong, okay? If you abuse a kid, it's wrong. It's wrong. There's always a line, and maybe in different cultures and different societies, the line seems to move, right? But that's just it. It's like the evolution of our humanity is figuring out where is that line, okay? And so I'm not here trying to discuss the areas that are gray, you know, or whatever. I'm just saying, you know that there are things that's morally wrong and that's objectively true. Okay? So any philosophy or religion that says there is no right or wrong or there is no truth, I don't get it. I don't know. So I've had people try to explain it to me, but you know, I'm not that smart. I'm just a simple country boy, and it just doesn't fly with my common sense that, you know, we're just some big cosmic accident and whatever you want to do is okay. However you want to treat people is fine because there is no truth. I'm not going for that, guys. So anyway, rambled long enough. Just some thoughts. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Am I not? Again, I'm not a philosopher. I'm just a normal dude. I told you. I'm from Mississippi. What's your excuse?